Torres, and welcome to my presentation on how to successfully launch a PR campaign in Japan. I'm an upcoming sophomore at Texas Tech for the fall 2024 year. My expected graduation date is 2027. I am a public relations and strategic comm major and a political science minor. Understand Japan on a much deeper level and understand its different societal characteristics and how we can use that research to tailor a successful PR campaign. As you can see from this chart, Japan scores similar, if not much higher, than all of the different societal characteristics compared to the US. The first category that we will go over is power distance. Japan has an intermediate score of 54 on the Power Distance Index, indicating it is a borderline hierarchical society. Japanese people are conscious of their hierarchical position in any social setting and act accordingly. Foreigners often perceive Japan as extremely hierarchical due to the slow decision-making process in businesses. Decisions must be confirmed by each hierarchical layer, finally by the top management in Tokyo. The slow decision-making process indicates that there is no single top authority who can make decisions unilaterally. Japan has a strong meritocratic tradition. The education system emphasizes that everyone is born equal. There is a belief that anyone can succeed and achieve anything through hard work. That we will go over are individualism and indulgence. Japan scores a 62 on the individualism dimension, indicating characteristics of an individualistic society. Unlike China and Korea, Japan's society does not have an extended family system. Japan has traditionally been a paternalistic society. Family name and assets are inherited from the father to the eldest son. Younger siblings leave home and make their living with their core families. Their loyalty to their companies, which they choose themselves, reflects an individualistic behavior. Japanese individuals are more private and reserved compared to most other Asians. Japan scores a 42 on the restraint dimension, indicating a culture of restraint. Contrasting with indulgent societies, restrained societies do not emphasize leisure time, control the gratification of desires. People in restrained societies perceive their actions as being limited by social norms. They feel that indulging themselves is somewhat wrong. The next category that we will go over is motivation towards achievement and success. Japan scores a 95 on the divisiveness dimension, making it one of the most divisive societies in the world. Severe competition occurs between groups rather than individuals. In corporate Japan, employees are highly motivated when part of a winning team competing against other companies. Expressions of divisiveness in Japan include a drive for excellence and perfection in material production, high standards in material services and presentation. Japanese workaholism is another manifestation of their divisiveness. Women find it challenging to climb the corporate ladder due to the divisive norm of hard and long working hours. The next category that we will go over is uncertainty avoidance. Japan scores a 92 on the uncertainty avoidance dimension, making it one of the most uncertainty avoiding countries. This high score is often attributed to Japan's frequent natural disasters. Japanese society prepares extensively for uncertain situations, emergency plans and precautions for natural disasters, prescribed actions for maximum predictability in all aspects of life. Life in Japan is highly ritualized, with many ceremonies from cradle to grave. School year opening and closing ceremonies are conducted almost identically nationwide. Detailed etiquette books guide behavior and attire for weddings, funerals, and other social events. School teachers and public servants avoid actions without precedent. In corporate Japan, extensive time and effort are put into feasibility studies. All risk factors are meticulously analyzed before starting any project. Managers require detailed facts and figures before making any decision. The last category that we will go over is long-term orientation. Japan scores a 100 on the long-term orientation dimension, making it the most long-term oriented society. Japanese people view life as a brief moment in the long history of humanity, which leads to a certain degree of fatalism. Individuals strive to do their best within their lifetime, accepting that this is all they can do. The concept of an almighty singular God is not common in Japan. Instead, life is guided by virtues and practical good examples. In corporate Japan, long-term orientation is evident through high investment rates in research and development, even during economic difficulties, higher own capital rates, a focus on steady market share growth over quarterly profits. The aim is to ensure the durability and longevity of companies. Companies prioritize serving stakeholders and society at large over making immediate profits for shareholders. Now that we have gone over the different characteristics of Japanese society, we can move on to the different PR tips and practices practitioners can implement to launch a campaign. Understanding cultural dimensions. Ensure meticulous planning and detailed communication. For example, before launching a campaign, conduct extensive feasibility studies and risk assessments. Provide detailed plans and backup plans to partners and stakeholders. Focus on group harmony and consensus building. For example, when introducing a new product, highlight how it benefits the community and group rather than individual users. Engage local influencers and community leaders to endorse your campaign. Emphasize long-term benefits and sustainability. For example, showcase your company's commitment to long-term goals, such as environmental sustainability or long-term social projects. Highlight your dedication to the community over quick profits. Avoid overly indulgent or leisure-focused messages. For example, PR campaigns should be modest and emphasize hard work, dedication, and self-control. Avoid flashy or extravagant promotions that may be perceived as inappropriate. The second tip is adapting communication styles. Use indirect communication and read between the lines. For example, in press releases or advertisements, use subtle cues and culturally relevant symbols rather than direct explicit messages. Be mindful of nonverbal communication. The third tip is to build strong relationships. Invest time in building trust and relationships before pushing business outcomes. For example, engage in regular face-to-face meetings and social gatherings to build a connection with local partners and stakeholders. Show genuine interest in their culture and traditions. Final tip, leverage local expertise. Employ local PR professionals who understand the cultural nuances. For example, local experts can help tailor your campaign to fit cultural expectations and avoid potential pitfalls. Now on to the challenges, gains, and lessons that I received throughout making this presentation. The challenge that I faced throughout making this presentation was understanding cultural nuances, navigating the complexities of Japan's high context communication and subtle cultural cues. I overcame this challenge by immersing myself in Japanese culture through extensive research and consuming Japanese media. Gained from this presentation was an improved sense of cultural competence. I developed a deeper understanding of Japanese cultural values and communication styles and business practices. I am now able to effectively tailor PR campaigns to align with Japanese cultural expectations, ensuring messages are well received and resonate with the target audience. A lesson that I learned from this presentation was the value of continuous learning and adaptation. Adapting to new cultural contexts involve continuous learning and flexibility, staying open to new information and be willing to adjust strategies as needed. Something that I will take beyond this class is to embrace a mindset of lifelong learning and adaptability in all professional endeavors, recognizing the importance of cultural sensitivity and awareness. Here is a list of all of the sources that I used in order to help me create this presentation, and thank you to everyone who has listened to me talk about how to launch a successful PR campaign in Japan.